I'm Pam Hazley, and welcome to In Novato, the monthly show produced by Novato Community Television. And with me here is my co-host,
Kaylin Barber,
and Mayor Denise Athis. In tonight's show, we're opening up from the annual tree lighting in downtown Novato, and we'll tell you more about this exciting event later in the show. But first, Novato Parks, Recreation, and Community Services brings ice skating to Novato. A nonprofit with influence around the country discusses energy and equity. And let LIDA, or Love is the Answer, be the organization you donate your time to this holiday season. And before we get to that, I want to talk to Mayor Denise Athis and talk about the reorganization, of which we're going to show footage here shortly. Mayor Denise, what do you have to say to the Novato community about ending your term as mayor?
Well, it's been a great year. We've had a lot of fun. We've had a lot of events, of course, with you at almost every single one of them, doing great shows. This is always the culmination, which is a big thrill for anybody who's mayor. Fortunately, we all get an opportunity, but to be with the community, be able to really enjoy the holidays together and have some fun is what it's all about. So happy holidays, everybody, and enjoy the great show you're about to see.
All right, let's hear more about the city organization coming up right now.
As the newly appointed mayor
of the
city of Novato.
Let's hear it for Well, thank you all so much for coming. I'm very grateful to have you here. I'm very grateful to my colleagues on the council for giving me this opportunity to serve. And I'm thankful for my friends and family who are here. I'm especially thankful for my wife and family over there, my 3 kids who serve with me. I don't know where the kids, you probably hear them somewhere in the back. My 3 boys right there, and my wife, and my mother, and my who serve every single meeting, every single day, and every single minute of this responsibility with me. So thank you, my parents, for having me. We appreciate that. Very grateful for that, and grateful for everyone who's here, who's a part of this community. As I start my service as mayor, and as I start this term, I'm cognizant of, and I think it's worth acknowledging, the special time that we're in and the challenges that we have as a country, and acknowledging the fact that we do live in a time of deep political division and anxiety. And it doesn't matter what party you're in, there's political insecurity, there's social insecurity, there's economic insecurity all over. And what gives me hope, what gives me optimism about tomorrow and about our future, and what inspires me, is seeing how this council and this community has responded over the last 2 years. And we could all be very, very proud of that, and should be proud of that. And what do I mean by that? What I mean is we have led by our values, despite what has happened and what is happening. We continue to lead by our values. When the national government cuts back on climate protections or divests in clean investment, this council chose to lead by hiring a full-time sustainability officer to wake up every single day and make this community more sustainable and to fight climate change. This council decided to become the first city, the city of Novato, to commit to 100% clean energy at that time. And when we have a national government who is giving away public lands for corporate profit, this community decided to extend the urban growth boundary and protect our open space and our lands for generations to come. And when our national government is failing to invest in our infrastructure, and we see it every day with our bridges falling down and our roads in disrepair, this council and this community became the first city to have 3 smart stations in their city, which is all something we should be incredibly proud of. We're embarking on 4 major road projects in the coming year. We're revamping our parks, and we're investing every single day in our infrastructure. And lastly, when we see what's happening in D.C. and nationally, when D.C. tries to divide us and tear us apart, this city comes together. And we have taken enormous steps as a council and as a city and as a community to increase transparency, to increase engagement, to bring more people into city government every single day. And we're going to keep helping each other. We're going to keep stepping up, whether it's fires that are the worst fires in California history, or whether it's one of our own being lost to a deranged gunman, this community steps up and helps each other. And that's what's special about this community, and that's the honor that I get to have to serve, and we all get to have to serve to be here.
Well, it's winter time in Novato, and check out Sherman Avenue at night as Novato lights up our town's Christmas tree for our annual tree lighting celebration. And after that, Novato Parks, Recreation, and Community Services has taken their Sundays on Sherman program to new heights with ice skating at City Hall.
Glad to be out here at Novato's annual tree lighting ceremony. It's always a festive time of the year, kicking off the holiday season, bringing the community together from young to old, families, all sorts of activities out here. I really want to thank all the sponsors for making this event possible every year. And in just a little bit, we're going to be lighting the tree right on over here.
Merry Christmas.
Behind me, we have the Love to Dance All-Stars, and we're so excited to be part of this event because it brings the community together, and it's a great way to celebrate the holidays, and we look forward to it every year. We've been doing it for about 10 years now. Everyone say hi.
This event is how the whole community comes out and really rallies together for just the lighting of a simple tree.
Downtown at the city offices at Sundays on Sherman. This is the first time we've ever done ice skating here in Novato. We're super excited about this event. It's the first year of full-time special events, and we've had 2 Sundays on Sherman over the summer, and this is our winter edition. We're super excited. There's been a nice flow of people, and people seem to really enjoy it. We have inflatables for the kids. We have ice skating, of course, for all ages. We have food vendors. We have the book place from downtown giving away free books. We have the YMCA doing some face painting and the education coach doing some science experiments. We have Lego builds. It's pretty exciting, a lot of different activities. This being the first year with the ice rink, it's super exciting. We're really hoping that people are enjoying it, and hopefully we can do this again next year. Our whole goal is to bring Novato together. We want the community to come together and get outside and play. So we try and put together as many events as we can that are free for the public so that people of all ages can come together, get to know the community better, build a stronger community.
The Clean Energy Alliance is a national nonprofit organization that hosts an annual event designed to help leaders in the Bay Area build a more renewable and equitable future. NCTV was there to help spread the word.
In the climate solutions arena, a lot of times we talk about 100% renewable energy. We talk about how we need to have energy justice, we need to have equity, but we talk about it almost like a side dish instead of a main dish. But if we really think about this, if we cannot learn how to take care of people, it'll be really hard for us to learn how to take care of our planet. And this is why we're gathering together, because we are putting everyone from different sides of the table together to really share the things that we all care about, which is clean water, clean air, and clean food. And with that, we talk about how to use renewable energy as a solution to building democracy for all. We're at the Clean Power Healthy Communities Gathering. That is a place where we talk about clean power and also how can we bring healthy communities with the solution called renewable energy. And the idea is that if we can own our own energy, we will be able to own so much more in our community, from food, from business, from the fact that we can live here. It can be affordable because we are investing in our own community, where we can actually allow low-income communities to really connect with each other, connect with their land, and really have an equity to actually do something that they love.
The idea is to really bring together the notion of local renewable energy and how that can really empower communities, especially low-income communities and communities of color. The first panel today was looking at national politics and what has to be done really to put low-income communities and communities of color in the driver's seat of any new energy policy that we create to realistically deal with climate change in a way that allows our communities to survive. The second panel really raised up the voices of largely organizations run by women of color to talk about how locally, on the ground, in their communities, they're taking over control of energy resources to be able to use them really to empower and promote the interests of their communities.
So where we are at today, it is an intersection of many movements. An intersection where people don't really see where we can all cross-pollinate with each other to create the future we want to see. And because it's an intersection, it is very hard to really see what's happening on the ground. And this is why it's so exciting for all of us to come together to really connect with each other and really build that movement forward. It is a collective movement that most people don't know and cannot find and see.
LIDA, short for Love is the Answer, is a nonprofit that deserves your time this winter season. We hope you feel like volunteering after watching this video and get in contact to do some good in the new year.
For many residents of long-term care facilities, the worst thing isn't their failing health or the cost of care, but loneliness. Many have outlived or live far from their family and friends. Since 1975, LIDA, short for Love is the Answer, has worked to end loneliness among frail, isolated residents of Marin County's skilled nursing, assisted living, and board and care homes.
In Marin County, it's one of the fastest growing aging populations out of the Bay Area. Currently, 1 in 4 people in Marin County are over the age of 60, and they're expecting that that's going to grow to 1 in 3 in the next 15 years. It's a population, as you get into the 80s and 90s, becomes quite isolated, whether they're living in a senior community or not. So LIDA provides that one-to-one volunteers throughout all of Marin County. The 3 primary programs that we have are the one-to-one volunteers, and then we have pet therapy. So we've got some volunteers that will bring pets, usually dogs, into senior living communities to come visit seniors. And then we have a Bridging Generations. It's an intergenerational group where we've got 8 elementary grade level classes that come in and visit, and they commit to a whole year.
I was hooked from the moment those children walked in. And of course you have your own 2 people that you have each year. And so by the end of the year, you're just truly bosom buddies. And I mean, I think I benefit more from them than they do from me. I mean, I hope they do from me, but I know I truly get such pleasure with being with them that it makes it all very worthwhile.
The pet therapy is another really, really positive program. I've said for years, anytime you bring a kid or an animal into a senior living community, people light up, and that really is true. We currently have a program where a volunteer is bringing a dog into our memory care section, and to see that group of residents and their reaction to that dog is just priceless.
I definitely recommend LIDA program to other people, and to other people who have pets who are becoming therapy dogs. I really encourage them to look it out because it is such a wonderful program, and we have so many seniors and so many people who are unable to have pets but really miss that in their life. It's something that they really enjoy and feel rewarded, and so it's just a win-win situation for everybody, and I think it's fantastic.
None of our people are paid anything. I mean, the reward to them is when they come in and spend time with their one-on-one friend, and you can just see not only the one-on-one friend radiate, but the volunteer, him or herself, get so much out of this. And it just goes to prove that there are a lot more things important in life than a monetary aspect of it.
This day and age, you know, we're all on social media and we get a lot of our news from our phones and our computers, and you know, I think we lose that one-to-one connection so often. So being able to take an hour out of our time, or our volunteers' time, an hour out of their week, to come visit with somebody who maybe doesn't have the ability to get out as often, that more socially isolated resident, maybe they're dealing with some depression. That one-to-one connection is such an amazing benefit, and we see the changes in those residents after their visit. There's just a sparkle there that maybe they're not going to get from a lot of the other activities that we have. I'd wholeheartedly encourage anyone who even has an inkling or a desire to do something like this, please give Lita a call. You know, we'd love to have more volunteers. Currently we've got almost 300 volunteers that are going out to visit seniors, and we have a lot more than 300 seniors in the community that could use volunteers. So wholeheartedly encourage people to get involved.
Loneliness is the problem, and love is the answer.
John, this is the corner that has all the information and all the bits and pieces of the crashes. And there's Jim Crumpler's favorite thing on the wall over there. Let's look at it closely. But this is all the crashes that have happened in Marin County. Is that right?
Yes, there's a ranger for the Marin County Water District that patrols their open space area, you know, the hills and around here and all of that. And he has made a hobby of collecting parts and pieces of various aircraft and researching the crashes. And this is a map that designates, it shows the designation of the planes that have gone down in Marin County, all the way from the old Impali crashes out here, a lot around San Rafael, and up here in the mountain areas.
I understand there's one up in Mount Tam that even some of the rangers will point out that's still there as a big piece. Is that right?
I think the one you're talking about is that there's an engine from a B-17 that still exists on the Scout Trail, but I think that's I think it's on Mount
Riddell?
Yeah, Mount Tamalpais, not on Mount Riddell.
Okay,
I think it's on the backside.
Oh, okay.
You know, there were, I think, 2 or 3 fighter planes that went in on Red Hill and down in San Rafael. And these are parts that have been scattered around in the area that he's been recovering over a period of time.
Some big pieces.
And some of it is fairly large. This is a section of a landing gear out of a B-24 that landed almost across the freeway from us here in Novato. And then parts of a propeller. So there's up until, this is one of the reasons that Hamilton was closed, was because the residents of Belmarin Keys got really nervous about the fact that planes were taking off over their houses.
I can understand why.
But I'm a little surprised that they didn't realize there was an air base here, which preceded their housing development by about 25 or 30 years.
True. Oh, look on that wall. I see all kinds of photographs of women. What's going on there? There's a whole bank of photographs of women.
Well, it's always interesting to look at subgroups that have been here at Hamilton, and the WAF, the Women's Air Force, WASP, Women's Air Service Pilots. One of them is on our DVD talking about women flying planes in and out of Hamilton.
Interesting.
The nurses from the Bataan Death March, when they were liberated, first set foot in the United States here at Hamilton, and we have a picture of them coming off their planes. But we've had a pretty good history of women activities here at Hamilton.
Well, let's move on down here and see what we've got here. We've got a lot of uniforms in action here.
Yes, these are mostly World War II uniforms, and they show the various stages of social development or of social activity for women. This is a Class A uniform, so to speak. This is a formal uniform for a master sergeant.
Interesting. So that would be evening wear.
Yeah, the two ladies who wore these uniforms actually were here as docents. This is a Red Cross uniform, which is rather interesting, and that's a nurse's uniform. I think that's a nurse's uniform here. Yeah, that's a nurse's uniform here on the far end. They obviously weren't as glamorous as as the other ladies. This group of uniforms from here to here are actually part of an exhibit that was constructed fairly recently by the daughter of the commander of the Coast Guard who were stationed here at Hamilton. This is a Coast Guard exhibit.
That's an existing uniform right now.
Yeah,
huh?
this is what's happening here at Hamilton right now in hangars 1 and 2.
So there have been very nice studies showing the ability to make energy for the cell is just declining with time, and we use flies and worms models to really understand, is the same thing happening in a shorter time frame in these models, and can we understand something about this very complex problem in humans which takes decades to build up? Can you model that in an organism that lives only about 2 months or 2 weeks, and can you study that? Yeah.
Perfect segue. So your lab works primarily in flies and worms. Why should we care? I remember we were talking this morning when Sarah Palin ran for vice president. She slammed research that happens in fruit flies. We think it's pretty cool. Why is it, Pankaj?
Yeah, I mean, I want to thank Gordon for the introduction. It just reminded me of the conversation I had with Seymour Benzer. So Seymour Benzer was one of the first people, one of the pioneers who adopted the fly as a model system to study behavior, circadian clocks. Actually, the last year's Nobel Prize was given for circadian clocks, and it was work that started in the fly. So I remember him talking when I read his biography, and he was simply interested in why his 2 daughters had different behavior, and he just got very interested in this question of what dictates behavior. In 1970s, people thought it was a very amorphous concept. People thought we have no clue, and definitely no gene had been ascribed to a behavior. And at that time, people also realized we had clocks, plant had clocks, right? But nobody really understood why and how this whole thing works. So his work really pioneered this field. He found the first gene that dictated circadian clocks. And what I mean is genetics is a very beautiful process. So he found that flies had certain behaviors that take place at certain times of the day. So for example, they lay eggs early in the morning. So they said, okay, why do they lay eggs at a particular time? Then you do something what's called mutation analysis. So you just find strains of flies which are different, which don't behave just like us, right? They found strains of flies that would lay eggs all throughout the day, right? That very simple discovery led to the identification of the whole molecular pathway for circadian clocks.
And that was involved in the Nobel Prize this year, right?
Right. So unfortunately, Seymour passed away, but he is credited with starting this whole field. But because if you pass away, you don't get the Nobel Prize. So his people who carried his work on, they got the Nobel Prize. But I talked to him, and I remember talking to him on the phone. And it's like you asked me, what happens in humans? I was like, I'm interested in human aging and human diseases. What am I going to learn from the fly? And he's like, no, that's what we're studying. We're studying human diseases in the fly. And it just made a very strong impact on me when I worked in his lab, that you can actually understand so much about a biological process from these simple systems that would take you years, that basically would take you far too long in other systems. Not just because they live short, just the way you can manipulate them. I sometimes joke, we can play God with the fly because we can change any gene at any time and look at their behaviors in a way that would not be possible, right? And I'm trying to do work in mice and humans, and the number of the number of things you have to sign to just something simple is just incredible. So it's just a very difficult process. So it's been a gift, I feel, to me, and changed my career trajectory to work with Seymour, and just made me realize. So now it's more imagination is the limit. So what do you want to understand? And I often ask this question to the audience. Come up with a question, and we can see if we can model that in the fly. And like that, we've at the Buck been privileged to be able to do model a lot of interesting things in the fly relevant to aging and nutrition. Yeah.
That's great. So a lot of the work in your lab involves a pathway called TOR. I promise you this is one of the most complex slides today, but I'm committed to having Pankaj explain it to us in a way that we can all understand. So talk about the TOR pathway and why that's so important to your work.
Could I have the pointer?
No, you cannot.
So the idea is that TOR has been discovered as a link between nutrients and growth, which means every time we eat, how does think about an organism, it eats and then it grows. How does that happen? So there's a process in place which is dictated by a protein called TOR.
And now a reminder from Novato Fire District to be safe during the holiday season. And after that, your city's organizations would like to wish you happy holidays.
Hi, this is Sandy, Novato Fire District. This is your 30-second quick tip about your carbon monoxide alarms. This year, during the holiday season, we always see lots of carbon monoxide calls, especially when people have their carbon monoxide alarm and it's beeping, 4 quick beeps to tell us that there's carbon monoxide in their home from some type of fuel-burning appliance. If it's burning incorrectly, it's going to off-gas carbon monoxide, which is deadly. Make sure you've got your carbon monoxide alarm set, plugged in, and ready to go. Four more beeps, and a chirp tells me it's set.
Happy holidays from Novato Unified School District! Woo!
From the City of Novato's Public Works Department, wishing you and yours a Merry Christmas.
On behalf of the Novato Fire District and the entire Novato Fire family, I want to wish you happy season's greetings.
Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays!
The City of Novato family wishes everyone a happy holidays.
Happy holidays from the City of Novato!
From our staff at NCTV
to the Novato community,
we wish you
Merry Christmas
and a Happy New Year!
Well, as you see, the tree is lit. The holidays are officially here. Thank you for watching this edition of In Novato. I'm Pam Hazley. We'll see you next time right here in Novato. If you have ideas for a show segment or a local event you'd like to feature, we'd love to hear from you. Just send us an email to info@novatotelevision.tv and we'll contact you about possibly airing your show idea or event. Please visit our website to learn more about NCTV and like us on our Facebook page. And be sure to tune in next month to see what your local government, nonprofit businesses, and community volunteers have been working on right here in Novato.
Novato Community Television. NCTV is your local community television station. Any Novato resident, nonprofit, or government agency is welcome to become a member and use the studio's resources to air your programming. NCTV has an experienced staff. We offer hands-on training and internships. We cover school board meetings, city council meetings, and many community events. Membership benefits include studio rental, the use of equipment, instruction on basic videography and editing, and a fun experience. NCTV, channels 26, 27, and 30.
Come see for yourself what NCTV has to offer you.